Okay. I just want to say, first of all, thank you, God. Before I scream, before I'm in pain, before I suffer to the point where I can say that, I need to be able to say that now. I hear this purpose that they've empowered to partake in this. Now, at this point, I don't have doubts that what I'm experiencing is manipulation that is made for me to experience by these bottom feeders. I don't have doubts. Matter of fact, it's funny because I was about to make this video after they did this manipulation. I can hear this child trash say, "Oh, we run already." I'm like, they've empowered people who don't understand what winning is, don't understand what they involved in is really. There's no winning or losing. Target individuals, we just endure. We experience what we are forced to experience. Everything is orchestrated, everything is manipulated. Now imagine somebody who's so child-minded that they don't understand that this is not a competition, it's over. Once somebody's put in this program, it's game over. It's done. There's no victories, there's no loss. The person is just putting this, and it's over. But these people are so loser-like in their child ways of thinking that they think I have doubts. But I guess what I can say is the way I win is different. Is because I'm so validated with reality, and the way I win is to see you live your life countering reality, and the fact that they use people like you as a child that you are, you sound like, is an indication that you really are in a situation where people mentally like you are needed. In their life consists of countering the reality of what they're part of. I don't make it easy. And they want me to identify to all of it. They're gonna do the gaslighting. Matter of fact, one of the things they're trying to counter is the fact that they were ranked. So this program, like I said, it's obvious who's running this program. The Department of Defense is running this program. It's not these trash losers that talk about winning or losing. It's obviously a Department of Defense running this program, and they're using these civilians to implement these tactics. They probably have a few buffer between these losers and these entities. But the truth is that is what those entities running the program do. And this this technology is extremely sophisticated. There's nothing I can do. This child that's far from anything like a winner, quote unquote, is gonna see things that they have orchestrated so long ago. And that's because this governmental entity is running this program. This child is today blocking the reality, and she's gonna be blessed for it. There's no problem. Not today though. These people don't understand reality till it hits them, and I've seen it with my time. Thank you, God, I was able to see a few things to validate me that don't worry, they'll have their times. In the meantime, be strong. These people who are so cowardly right now, they say how they're scared of me, but they talk to me remotely. But the truth is, I don't want them to be scared of me. I just want them to be aware of, if they start playing this game, it's not going to look good. Because the thing is, they think that this reality they put together should be something I can accept, even though they know that I know that they manipulate me to experience this. But they think in their reality, in this bubble they've created, that if they can make themselves angry, if they make their dog bark or whatever, they're going to slam the doors. I'm going to be like, oh, you know what? This is me. The truth is, at this point, it's just I have more than just validation. It's also anger that I know what they do to children. So I would recommend for them to not do this, because I do not want to be capable to do anything aggressive, and I truly see them for what they're part of and what they have to block and counter. Whatever games they've created remotely, please do not apply that in front of me. You can send these children. You've seen some of these children that I don't even want to show again because it's so embarrassing. What they've created is something they've created that is not real, that is remote. When it comes near to me, I remember one of these women from one of the apartment. She tried to play this game. They were doing these things in my head. She looked at me and she tried to say something. And I looked at her and said, are you talking to me? Because I was like, please try. Try to play this game. I looked at her and said, are you talking to me? This is a thing that you do over there. You slam the doors over there. You do all these things. But because when you start looking at me and you think I'm going to let you live your fantasy, Go train your kids to frame me. But don't talk to me. You know what I know what you guys do. You know I know my brain is not mine. I know that this is what this incentives. You think I'm gonna act this, you're gonna act this way, I'm gonna believe it. I see what you are. I've seen you, I've seen this man, I know what you guys do. You change people's brain and then you try to play these clowns. Even your children can play the same game as you. You're a grown-ass woman. Imagine you do the same thing children do. So my recommendation to this purpose is like, okay, I don't want to be one of these people aggressive. I don't want to go that route. It's not me. I'm not an aggressive person, and I will never feel good looking at myself knowing that I did something aggressive to somebody. Like, you're trash, you're going to get yours. I'm better than you. Not because money, I'm sure you make so much more money doing this, but because what you do. Why would I look like doing something to your nasty ass? Please do that over there. And that goes with your children and whoever else here playing these games. But if anything, please stay here. Let me pose for me so I can take a picture of you, because I want you to see yourself. And I want to show this perps, the target image of this is what perps look like. They manipulate you in these nasty ways, and they have clowns like that coming in all shape and form that try to counter reality. Look at that. You see, you heard the things I just heard. You heard the validations. There's people like that contracted by these governmental entities that's supposed to block this reality and come up with this falsified reality and calling their reality. You should hear how fierce some of these perps sound like, but in front of me, because they realize this guy, this target individual is not identifying to this. I've seen this woman walking with so much confidence. I will never forget this woman. She was shaking, she was throwing her kids, walking with kids. I think she wanted to let me know that she has kids that cannot come in this apartment. I don't know if that was the case. But the confidence was something I've never seen. I looked at her and I shook her in my head like that. Just a quick head shake. She lost balance. I'm like, look at this trash. She knows what she is. This game is over. Now, what I'm gonna do is continue to make videos until I can. I'd rather speak now when I can. Matter of fact, as I'm speaking about it right now, I can feel my eyesight just facing away. They've done that to kids too, so I'm like, I'd rather be dying this way than living like this trash. And guess the person who said keep dying is the person I think that got frustrated. That's when I shook my head, she fell. She almost didn't fell down. She lost her balance. I'm like, okay, I'll keep dying, but you understand your death, it comes whenever it's ready. I would have died this way. But I saw you for the weak, low-life trash who wanted to present yourself in this way, but was seen for the low-life working for governmental entities that torture children in so many terrible ways. And those governmental entities are so pedophilia-centric. And let me say that as they try to counter that. They're ranked 19th out of 2,900. They were ranked 19th out of 2,900 in 2018 for trafficking the most child porn in the United States. Your job now is to counter that. You see what your life is? You who keep living this life? So you think I want to trade the life of somebody who's living life like you? I'd rather keep dying. Now, as you hear the noise campaign from the sirens and the people throwing the trash, they try to disorient me into accepting this. This is what they do. That's their job. That's how they keep living life. I was going through like some Instagram of some African countries. I don't know which African country, but I think there was this guy, this African president. I'm not sure which one he is, but he's here with his granddaughter, I believe. Well, his daughter or his granddaughter. But he looks a little bit older to be his daughter, and I think it's some African country president. I'm not sure which one, but you see that with this baby, this little black girl. You know, when this little black girl, they're like, no, we mapped that issue. When if you see who's talking to you, it's some clown, some trash, some clown. I hope you can hear the noise campaign. Who's making noise campaign? I think. Let me show you who is most likely making a noise campaign. It's some clown like this making noise campaign. Now they come in all shape and form. I've been using this picture because I thank them. Thanks to them, they were able to be visible for me to take a picture and show them as what they are. Perps, who you just heard noise campaign. Because when I see these black little girls, they force me to get stimulation. Now this time they didn't they didn't stimulate me as much as they can. Meaning that these perps did not make me have this sexual stimulation they can make me have. They kind of minimized it. I think it's because it's going to be, I think they need the whole up and lows and up and down. And I think maybe the lows got too low at some point. Or something like that. But this is what they do. And then they make me think, oh no, what we're doing is we're mapping you as a kid. When you're a kid, that's how you know, that's what you're making me experience. This is the reaction you're making me experience today. And I was not experiencing that as a child. But I'm a grown adult person, and I know that as an adult person, I will never experience these things. And as a child, you just manipulate my memories, which you've done so much. Now, you hear this trash, then try to be like, no, but remember what you did as a kid. What I did as a kid is what a kid can do as an impulsive child. I'm not an impulsive child. I'm a grown man. And when I was a child, I was not even experience this reaction. But you today are making those reaction experience in my memories and try to make me imagine how those experiences happen when I see kids like that. I know who I am. I have no doubts that this is not something I will have naturally, but they have to do their job. Now, some of the things they've said is pay now, pay for what you. I was like, what? You are clearly validated that these people torture children. Now, not only they are making you as an adult man have these reactions toward these kids, then try to gaslight you into accepting this. They also torture children. Not too much older than these babies that you just saw. This baby is probably like 3 years old, 4 years old. They torture children that same age. Some of these kids have mental handicap they've tortured, at least on the testimonials I've heard. They harm them, and some of the harm is sexual. Meaning they target the genitals. This noise campaign that you hear is to encounter that. Because we know these governmental entities are involved, and that means law enforcement is involved and other entities connected to these governmental entities. Not even connected, but these other entities connected to the government are involved. The doctors are involved. The law enforcement is involved. The ambulances are involved. And this trash around you get involved. And they get these incentives. And they want you to accept these manipulations. And you have people involved in a program where they torture children, saying, now you pay for what you've done as a child, which they have to exaggerate, while being involved in a program where they're literally sexually torturing children. And today, as a grown man, they're making you have this reaction that you're forced to re-experience, and then try to, for me at least, in my case, to be logical in the sense that now what we're doing is we're making you experience what you would experience if you're a child and you saw this child. And you're like, first of all, what kind of retardation logic is that? Sorry for my language, but this is, I cannot, if somebody is purposely acting this illogical in this spectrum, I have to call them retarded. Because you would never want somebody to start thinking in the way they would think if they're children. That is just on its own. It shows the mentality they need to have. That's why they like to use these winners. That's why they like to use children that are like, now we won. Yes, you are such a winner. And then they're like, no, but but look at this little girl. Remember what you did as a kid? It's like, no, what I did as a kid is something I did to myself, and it's not. I did not experience what you make me experience today. And this is what a child is capable of doing, because a kid at that age is impulsive. Now, I'm talking to people who have this logic of what we're making you think like is you as a child, but they're also involved in a program where they torture children. Somebody just tried to say that quickly. Now you pay, because they know that at this point, I'm going to listen to this. This is not fair part that they hate me to bring up. It's not fair for them, because how can they please this femme fatale feminist, protector of the community, avenging for children, protecting children, when they're involved in a program where you're going to hear this kind of torture applied to children? Them who's supposed to be protecting children. When you hear sexual torture applied to children or targeting the genitals. Listen to this.
I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing it worse when I eat. Then I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister, who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, "ow." I observed this at least on 1 or 2 occasions for each of them during their separate sessions. During one session, I observed one of my 3-year-old clients suddenly grab his crotch and lean forward in his chair. And then he made a frightening grimace of severe pain. I asked...
So you hear a 4-year-old with Down syndrome, a 5-year-old with Down syndrome, grabbing their genitals because they feel some pain in that part of their body. You heard this nose campaign because that's when I say when they felt some pain in this part of their body, they try to create some thought. That's disgusting. As you understand, law enforcement are involved, and ambulances are involved, and do noise campaign to try to counter this or to try to make me identify with this manipulation. Instead of be like, oh, hey, when this a torture of children that's sexual, no, they just try to block in the way they make me think when I'm talking about how these 2 girls, one 4 years old, one 5 years old, both of them with Down syndrome, grabbing their genitals because they're being harmed there by this technology. Then you hear a 3-year-old, same thing. Now, it is so nasty, but that's something I bring up often because I know that these people torture children in many ways, sexual and non-sexual, right? But when it comes to sexual, there's this testimony not too long ago, and there's a lot of sexual torture that you hear, mostly coming from women and men. And this is one who describes it very well, and I like to bring that up.
Hey, I just woke up after a pretty rough night. The same thing happened last night as the night before, which was whenever I was trying to go to sleep, the private parts of my body began being burned again, and
she said her private parts were being burned again. Let me bring some more here.
I tried to go to a doctor to get some kind of pain medicine because what actually happens to me, what is happening to me is my actual physical body is being burned. So it causes me to go into shock and it's excruciating.
Her genitals get so burned that she go into shock because of the burns.
Sleeping. So it was a couple of weeks ago, military proprietary system. And I have my limitations on the type of happens to me. Abuse last night was pretty extreme. I can feel it's going to be the same again today. Already on the harming of the private parts of my body.
Once again, she talks about her private part being harmed. And the reason why I bring that up is just, can you imagine, is this the kind of harm these children were feeling?
It seems that is a very real reality in a lot of capacities of the things that I faced. Just kind of just feeling some pretty general fear about my own safety, because the government's burning the private parts of my body.
Now, this woman talk about how her private part is being burned by the government. Now, I don't know if those kids were experiencing that level of intensity when they were harming the genitals, but even just the fact that this was some type of torture of that nature was applied to children. It just gives you an idea. And not all of the torture, those children that you hear are sexually tortured. I just wanted to bring that specifically. There's a lot of different torture. They suffocate them, they can blind them, they can make them sick. There's a lot of torture of all sorts, psychological, physical. It's so nasty. And so when they do these things to me, right, when they manipulate my brain, and then they get like, no, get paid for what you did as a child. First of all, you are making me an adult man see this kid in this disgusting way, making me have this reaction, and then to try to make me accept this reaction, you talk about me as a child. I will never identify with this manipulation, and I know you're making my brain experience this. Now, when you talk about me as a child and the impulsive thing I did as a child to myself, it's an impulsive act of a child that will never be to the level that you wish it was. It's something I did to myself when I was a kid. When I look at it, when I think about it, I definitely don't like it. But that's what a child is capable of doing. It's the age of a child that is impulsive, and this inappropriate act was an act that was done to myself. Now, when I see these babies, these black little girls, and you try to make me imagine that happening with these babies, is you manipulate my brain in these disgusting ways. And I will never see these things that way. I will never imagine these kids any way, in any shape, in any sexual way, especially these babies. I will see them for the adorable babies that they are, not this manipulated version that you created, where you tell me now we're mapping to you as a child in middle school. You who are renowned to manipulate the brain in these disgusting ways, but of course this pedophilia type of torture is not unique to me. They do that to others. And on top of that, they work for pedophiles. The entities that run this program are so disgustingly pedophilia-centric. They were ranked top tier for child porn trafficking, which they try to change it by rewiring things around. And by the way, there's a bill called National Defense Network Abuse Act, passed or created in 2019 because in 2018, they were ranked by Child Protective Services for being top tier trafficker of child porn, which they try to counter. And today, when I see these babies and this man who's a president of some country in Africa, I'm not sure where, some African country, as they try to mess with me, as I'm trying to put the picture of his kid or his grandkid, I'm forced to get this reaction, and then they try to make me believe now what we're doing is making you think the way you thought when you were a child. Oh, by the way, when they say a child, they talk about me. Let me just bring that up. Give you a sample of the childhood they're talking about and the age. Let me give you a sample. I don't know if you can see it, but you see kids around that age. You see how I look. I look nothing close to that age. I'm much older, and I'm old enough to be parents of these kids here. And I'm being told that my brain is just being rewired to the age of this child, these children that you see there. And this is why I'm experiencing what I'm experiencing. When the reality is they just manipulate my thoughts in this way. Even when I was a child at that age, I would not see a child and get this reaction. This act of the impulsiveness, it was just an act of a child that age doing something impulsive. Never having this reaction. But this trash who torture children the way you just heard, making this noise campaign, who sexually torture a child the same age of this baby you just saw, are trying to make me accept these manipulations. Thinking that I'm going to let them escape into the fantasy they put together, while I know they torture children even in sexual ways in this fashion. That you heard this woman talk about how she's getting burned in the genitals so much that she feels the pain that puts her in shock. She's in shock because the burns are giving her, and those are the burns aimed toward her genitals. And you have trash like that. Trash like that. Let me just read. Trash like these people here, trying to make you accept these manipulations, and they're gonna win. because they're so good. I'm being condescending. They're gonna win because my brain is gonna experience what they want me to experience. To all my target individuals, be strong. They have technology that can manipulate you in every way possible. If you ever have any doubts, please remember that things like that can validate you in ways that are just magical.
Designed to interact with the human nervous system in order to remotely pick up on someone's neural network or EEG, and not only receive that and monitor it, but manipulate it and place it back into the victim to control their emotions or control their actions or bodily functions for that matter. The other more recent term we have for that is EEG heterodyning or EEG cloning. The difference between EEG heterodyning and EEG cloning would be, let's say, me remotely receiving your EEG and then duplicating it and putting that in another person to give them your same thoughts or feelings or physical reactions. EEG heterodyning would be receiving your EEG, manipulating it to put it back inside your head to give us a desired physical reaction or emotional reaction.
And the desired reaction is going to be sexual. And then they're going to gaslight you. You're going to hear people making noise campaign to try to convince you to accept this reaction. As I'm saying that right now, there's perps in the hallways, being the brave lowlife that they are, in the program that torture children and women, where there's EEG heterodyning and cloning that can manipulate your brain to make you experience whatever is designed to experience. To all my target individuals, stay strong.